Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Rudder Tube Reef. Today we're going to talk about cleaning your aquarium in the spots that we neglect. When you feed your fish, there's a lot of fish food, if you feed heavily, that decay and rot in your aquarium. And that's going to cause phosphates and nitrates in your water, which are bad. You don't want that. Decaying food and fish waste and urine, which is ammonia. But I've got other videos on that. You shouldn't have any ammonia in your tank if your tank is established. But you know, we all vacuum our sand bed, we all do water changes, and that's great. A lot of the rotting fish food and fish waste collects in the corners of your aquarium and in the sand. You can get that out with a siphon, or if you have a good cleanup crew such as snails, emerald crabs, stuff of that nature. But one thing that we neglect to clean, and I'm guilty of this, is two main areas. Your sump, because all the water comes from above through the hose, gets filtered here, but there's always some little bit at the bottom. You see it down there? Another big area that we neglect is the overflow. The water flows from the top in through those vents, down through this overflow, which is where it goes down below into the sump I just showed you. If you take some kind of rod or stick and stir the water, you're gonna see a bunch of cloudy muck that settles on the bottom of your overflow chamber. You stir it up, you can see there's a lot. There was so much more, but there's all this gunk that stays in there. I'd like to stir it up, and then it'll get sucked up through this PVC here. You also want to scrape it off the PVC so it gets sucked up and brought into the filtration foam below. By the way, this is an awesome tool. As always, there's a link in the video description below to all the tools I use. What I purchased was a wet dry vac. This is a nice little vac. I'm going to unpackage it now. I'm going to suck up the water from this overflow to get all that nasty muck out. And then I'm going to do a water change. Clean off the rocks, replace my foam pads for filtration in the sump below. I purchased this, I think it was like 40 bucks. I'm going to put this link below. The shepherds are always very curious as to what's going on. Wet dry vac, and I got this just for the aquarium. This is what I'm going to use in the sump and the overflow. Comes with two long extensions for long reaches, which will come in really handy for when I dry this out and I clean the salt creep from behind the tank. All right, so if you get this one, when you're going to do a wet vac only to clean up or suck up liquid, you're going to take the blue bag off and just leave the foam. You don't need this. I'm just going to leave it on. So this week's water change won't be using a siphon to siphon the sand bed. It's going to be taking 10 gallons or a little more from both overflows and a little bit from the sump. A lot of people do their saltwater tank changes from their sump at times. Well, every other week, I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'll do it from the overflows and from the sump. The next week, I'll do it from the aquarium using the siphon. Well, that worked out great. All the water got sucked to the bottom. Now we do the other overflow, and we'll do some of the sump. Then I'll replace the 10 gallons with fresh salt water. All right, so I got both overflows and all of the second sump. So that's great. And you know what? There's a lot of murky water for all three. So if this thing holds 6 gallons, well, I just did like an 18-gallon water change quickly. I only have 10 gallons, so I'm gonna have to make some more salt water quick. It does suck the water up pretty quick, as you saw. So another cool thing regarding that, it's got an overflow valve, so it won't keep sucking water up and spitting it outside the vacuum. Once you hit 5.5 gallons, 6 gallons, it stops, and it doesn't suck up any more water. So I love it. It's great. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. And again, links to everything I use in the videos below and in the video description section.
Goodbye.